this is Brendan Schaub talking about heels in wrestling, Corey, and he's relaying a story to Brian Callen about an interview he had with WWE diva Eva Marie. Now, Brendan has a big obsession with the haters and social media, and he's got a bone to pick because a lot of people tease him and give him shit. And he does this balancing act where he tries to block it out and say that he doesn't listen to it, but yet he does these subtle things with a lot of his guests where he projects his own hatred of haters and social media onto the guest so that he can kind of sneak it into the conversation. This time he did it to a wrestler and tried to paint the picture that the reason heel wrestlers might not make as much money is because of the haters bee on social media and the fact that they'll say shitty things about them so people won't want to give them as much money.
Santa Schaub over here?
Yeah, Santa Schaub. He's got his cute little Santa hat on. I love when someone dresses like an asshole for a theme show, but then refuses to like lean into it and they're going to talk. Like you can't do like, hey, we're going to do a Christmas show where we dress like assholes and then go, hey, let's break down this. Like if you and I would have done the Alex Jones thing or the N-word teacher story a little bit ago and we would have dressed like elves, it would have been ridiculous. Right, exactly. So Schaub goes on.
Season's greetings from all you N-words.
So Brendan Schaub goes on and basically takes 100 years of wrestling psychology and blames it on social media and the haters. And I want you guys to pay attention to the way he talks about her reaction to it. He thinks that he said something remarkably profound when in reality, I believe Eva Marie just kind of realized she was talking to a dolt.
Connor or John Jones decide they want to be the heel and be the dark person. You know, they win fights. It's very black and white.
Ooh, the dark person. Easy there, Brendan.
But in WWE, they decide who's going to be a star, who's going to be the heel. But if they decide you're a heel, well, especially in social media time, people are stupid and think that's actually you. So the amount of toxic, negative comments you're going to get on social media down the road, you're not getting as many sponsorships as the baby face now or the champion. Do they take that in consideration when they negotiate your contract?
So Brendan asked Eva Marie, and again, Corey, do you see what I'm talking about?
Idiot. Can we just say that? What a fucking idiot.
But do you see what I'm talking about? Like, this isn't him wondering about this. This is him projecting the shit he gets on social media. This is him being like, these stupid faceless people on social media being haters. It's like, I doubt he's really this passionate about Eva Marie's heel run. This is about something else, Brendan. Always bringing up the haters. But then he goes, oh, the people talking shit about social media will mean that like Nike doesn't want to sponsor him. No, it's because the wrestling company doesn't want them getting those sponsorships. They need that person to be booed. They don't want to put their heel wrestler in a funny Jimmy John's commercial because then people will laugh at them and it will be bad for their storylines. Heels, and Brendan, heels making less money is not a new thing in pro wrestling because of social media and the haters. It's because the company wants them to get heat, so then the little kiddies don't want to buy their merchandise. They want to buy the merchandise of the hero who just beat them up. So, Brendan, I'm sorry.
This is all disillusioning to me. Like honestly, I feel as stupid as Brendan Schaub right now because I always loved the heels as a kid.
Right, but like even pro wrestlers will say, I don't want to turn heel because I'm making a shitload of merchandise money. And if you're like, there was like a 3-year window in the 90s where that wasn't the case, but all the time before that and all the time since then, it's 100% been the case. And Brendan's trying to pitch it as, oh, social media is why these wrestlers, if they're heels, they can't get endorsement deals and better money because, you know, they're heel wrestlers and social media haters will get them. Listen to how he describes Eva Marie's response.
This is the baby face now or the champion. Do they take that in consideration when they negotiate your contract? She goes, I don't think I've ever heard anybody bring that up.
So he thinks he's Walter Cronkite because she went, I don't think I've ever heard anybody bring that up.
But she was just politely like, you're fucking stupid.
Right, because there's two ways to answer that. It's like, that's a stupid fucking question. Or you can go, wow, that's how you say, like when these wrestlers go to an elementary school and a kid asks them a dumb question about their outfit and they'll go, wow, nobody's ever asked me that before.
I've never really thought about that before.
Yeah, that's what she's doing to Brendan. She heard his question and she went, oh, I'm talking to a fourth grader. Oh, well, yeah, Brendan, wow, in all the interviews I've ever done, nobody's ever asked me that.
Brandon.
I went, when it comes to fighter pay, I have to dive into that. So I was just thinking WWE, and she went,
It's a very good question.
yeah. And then she was just like, no comment. She's like,
She was like, no comment. Right. Brendan, that doesn't mean that you asked a really good question. That means she thought it was really fucking stupid and she's trying to be nice to you. Even Brian Callen is sitting back with his arms folded going, yeah, it's a good question. Yeah. So do you heel wrestlers get paid less? And do you think it's because of the haters on social media? Do you think it's because of Twitter? It's like, no, it's because I call the babyface an idiot and I make fun of their hometown and I shit all over their parents and I tell everyone what a piece of shit they are. And then I hit them in the balls when they're not looking. So they tend not to want to buy my shit.
That'll do it.
Yeah. So do you think it's because Artemis9947 on Twitter said that you're a cunt? No, I'm pretty sure it's because I kicked their favorite wrestler in the cunt when she wasn't looking and cost her to the world title.
Nobody's ever asked me that before, Brandon.
Yeah, exactly. I like Eva Marie. Eva Marie sounds like a nice lady. She's like, no, Brendan, that's... Then she's on the phone afterwards like, who scheduled me the Make-A-Wish interview?
Fucking agent now.
It's a very good question.
yeah. And then she was just like, no comment. She's no cameras around. She's like, no comments. Yeah. She's like, that's a brilliant idea, though. I'm like, because you got to realize in 2022, when they go, you're going to be the heel, the fan base goes, that's a bad person, fuck them, and they attack you online.
But Brendan, it wasn't like that wasn't the case in the 50s. It was there just was no social media. They still thought that guy was an asshole. For example, Brendan, in the 80s, the whole world would see the bad guy on TV. Everybody wanted to buy a Hulk Hogan shirt, not an Andre the Giant shirt, because Andre was mean to Hulk Hogan. It wasn't because, they covered it on the news and said that Andre was a bad guy and defamed his name. Brendan, I'm
pretty sure it was social media back then, dude.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Brendan, you have a successful show. You've done better than you have any business doing. Like, you've lived a life that is way outside of your qualifications. Embrace it. Enjoy it. I mean, it's fucking social media. You should be too busy to be reading these people's shit. Hit the mute button, move on with your life, because it's affecting your profession, Brendan. These people are they're affecting the way you perform. You can't even ask a pro wrestler a question you can't separate your own bullshit to interview a professional wrestler. It's wild, Brendan.
So she gets death threats.
Right.
Her family gets death threats. Her husband gets
smart
death
people
threats.
out there. Some smart people
real
out
smart, because they think it's real. That'd be like being mad at the Joker in a movie.
Yeah, no,
and send him death threats. I'm like, you're a bad person, Joker.
God, this is so about Brendan. Brendan, Harley Race would get stabbed in bars and he had to fight people off. Like,
everything's about him. This is why I can't watch him. Like, everything's about this fucking asshole.
Right. He's using a conversation, an anecdotal conversation with a pro wrestler, and instead of like promoting her, he's using it as a way to show his haters. And by the way, Brendan, there is a Reddit sub that is tens of thousands of people large, and it's devoted to making fun of you. Whatever tact you're taking is not working. Starve them of the oxygen. Starve them of the attention. Go do your show. I had to ask this pro wrestler about the haters, and I said, you're a heel wrestler. Do you ever think that causes people not to like you and say mean things about you? Holy shit, I never even considered it. Brendan,
I didn't even know we could do that.
I had no idea. Like, these wrestlers back in the old days, it's great. I'm sure that heel wrestlers now are like, oh, thank God the only thing I get is, some bad tweets at me. Back in the 70s and 80s, people would like try to shoot these guys and stab them, and every one of them had to get in fights in bars to prove themselves when they went out, and like it was all part of the job. Oh, but them now they get mean tweets. You think that affects their bottom line?
Smart.
Excuse me? So, so the fan base doesn't realize
the other thing that's really funny about that, if you think about it, is what was the big event that brought wrestling to the mainstream? Like who was the person that did that?
Vince McMahon with WrestleMania and Hulk Hogan.
Sure, but
and all that.
what Hulk Hogan was the one I was looking for, right? So like everybody pre Hulk Hogan was going to be making less money, right? That's just how it is.
Yeah. But now they're going to make even less because people are being mean on social media.
But they're not, because the ones making the least amount of money now are still making way more than they were in like the 70s.
Right.
Bad person, Joker.
Yeah, smart.
Excuse me. So so the fan base doesn't realize that it was planned for her to be the bad person. So she didn't get so much backlash online. You're not getting the big endorsements like Pepsi or Coke or whatever. Is not going to co-sign this villain. So I was like, they should compensate you more.
Yeah.
She was like, no comment.
They should compensate? Wait, what was that? I need that word again. Is it they need to compensate you more? Karma Sutra you more? Is he saying she should get fucked? How dare you, Brandon?
I think he is. I think he's saying she needs to get the D.
Well, that's too bad because Vince McMahon's gone. I mean, there was a man who could have taken care of that, and now, look, they ran him out of town.
Backlash
Every time
online.
I see clips from this show, though, it looks like Brian Callen is getting less and less excited to be there.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Brian Callen.
Look at the body language and look at how old he looks. He looks like a president leaving the White House.
He does. I think he likes doing
this podcast with Brandon Schaub has aged him.
Yeah, I think he likes doing his show with Sam Tripoli that they do together. But I think this one, Schaub got the golden ticket. He got the cosign from Rogan. And when he was riding high, Callen's like, I'll put up with this babbling dipshit because he brings a lot of eyeballs to the product. Now, Brendan has turned from like the eagle he could fly on the wings on to the albatross around his neck. So that whole thing is kind of flipped. And, Brian can't get out because Brian Callen has had his accusations come toward him, and that's kind of damaged his market value. So these guys are locked in this kind of shitty death spiral with each other, where he has to listen to Brendan's nonsense, but he can't go anywhere else.
You're not getting the big endorsements like Pepsi or Coke or whatever. Is not going to co-sign this villain. So I was like, they should compensate you more.
Compensate. They should compensate you more.
Oh, some compensation?
Yeah, you got to get a little compensation.
Yeah.
She was like, no comment. She was, I don't have an opinion on that. I was like,
she's something else.
I went, but I can see the wheels turning. I like to plant that little seed. I'm going to walk away now.
That must
That's my favorite. Okay, that's why I can't hate Brendan. Because Brendan got a very polite no comment from her because she's like, well, yeah, dipshit, being a heel, you make less money. Everybody in pro wrestling knows that. That's a given. That's why so many people don't want to turn heel. But in Brendan's mind, it was, I bent the shit out of her brain, and that's what I did, Brian. You see, what I do is I plant that seed of doubt. I let them stew about it for a little while, and then I just walk away going, Brendan, you sly son of a bitch.
I know you were just joking, but he probably does believe he's Walter Cronkite.
Yeah, right. He probably thinks, and this is the danger of people saying shit like Howard Stern's a great interviewer when he's not. So now all these dipshits who do a podcast think if they ask a question that doesn't have an immediate answer, they're like, oh, I'm a great interviewer too. It's like, no, great interviewers train at it for years and years, and they have to learn how to read people and ask the right thing to get you to say this so they can set up this question. Like, I don't know. Hey, do you think being a bad guy that the audience is supposed to hate hurts your market value? That's not exactly the brilliant question that you think it is. And again, Eva Marie probably thought she was talking to a Make-A-Wish kid at that point.
I mean, she kind of was, right?
She's not.
I mean, isn't this all kind of just Brandon Schaub's Make-A-Wish? I mean, the dude is completely washed from MMA. He gets the fucking Rogan seal of approval, right?
And he fucks that up.
And then he puts out one of the worst specials anyone's ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, you could almost argue two of the worst specials anyone's ever seen, but Gringo Poppy is definitely in a league of its own. But then
I didn't even know there were two.
Oh yeah, there's you'd be surprised. That was the one where he did that really offensive Chinese accent to imitate the UFC doctor.
Okay, I remember that. I didn't realize that was a special. I thought that was just a podcast.
That was a Showtime special. That was more of a special than the YouTube one. So he did that one. Yeah, he was, oh, Mr. Schaub, worst pain of your life. And then there's a video on YouTube where they show the juxtaposition. They show the Asian UFC doctor. He's like, hello, yes, my name is Larry Wong. I'm the doctor for the Ultimate Fighting Championships. And we're going to walk you through our facilities here. And then they go back to Brendan going, oh, what's paying your life, Mr. Schaub? It's like, that's not how that motherfucker talks, dude.
Good.
But yeah, so now, and then Brendan started with that seal of approval from Rogan, and then he got handed the world, and he's just slowly causing it to slip through his fingers. And now he's doing a podcast with Eric Griffin, who I think is really funny, but then also Chris D'Elia, who just, as time goes on, D'Elia looks more and more like a guy who doesn't leave his house, and his skin, he looks like they just pulled him out of a river. He's got this white, translucent, saggy skin. He just looks very ghoulish. And now there's this documentary about him that's out. It's only done 39,000 views in its first 16 hours, so it's not like spreading completely like wildfire, but it'll do pretty well. And there's no evidence that Chris D'Elia has stopped being the scumbag that he was accused of being. Like,
I mean, hopefully he stopped doing it with kids, though, right?
Right, you hope so, but like, there's been new allegations since then. It's just that it's a little tough to determine, who's right and who's wrong and who can prove what. But like, Brendan's like hanging around with D'Elia and hanging around with Callan and all
I remember
these.
he had that like restraining order from like somebody he never met or some shit like that. He was saying
Who, Brendan or D'Elia?
D'Elia. That was like the big thing.
Yeah. That was, he claimed he'd never met that person. And then like, you got Brendan's made some mistakes too. Like, he's suing Unique. He's suing that YouTuber because he talked shit about him, like there was a video of him handing a woman a piece of paper at a party or a hotel or a casino or something. And he handed her this piece of paper, what clearly looked like he was slipping her his number, and he's married with kids. And Unique played that on his YouTube channel and went, hey, what's going on here? And then he fucking sued the guy. He sued a guy with like 10,000 subs. You're never going to look like the good guy doing something like that. So
I mean, maybe it was to like save his marriage or some shit, though.
Oh, no, you're right. I mean, it totally was. But like, it's not, you can't then wonder why you have haters. You can't be like, oh, I don't understand all these faceless haters, B. I don't get why they hate me. It's like, well, you were handed the world. You got dropped off on third base and you acted like you hit a triple. And then you were really shitty to people who couldn't do anything for you. So, I mean, Theo Vaughn has left him now. And Theo Vaughn, I feel like Theo's about to really start talking shit about Brendan because he's done interviews where he's really holding back. And you can tell there's something kicking around in his brain. And that would be kind of interesting to hear those stories. Brian says, kind of creepy to have multiple friends accused of the R word and underage grooming. Yeah, I mean, Brian Callen. I mean, look, to me, the Brian Callen accusations are he's a creep, but I don't think he, R'd anybody. I think there's women out there who's like, yeah, he's really aggressive. He doesn't know when to stop. He's he plays it very aggressive, basically. He's a creepy guy. But I don't know if it's, I don't know if you brought him before a court of law, they'd throw him in jail for anything, but he's certainly he's a guy with some issues. But D'Elia has escaped jail on basically technicalities and lack of evidence. I don't know. D'Elia's stuff, like you said, Corey, I mean, there's text messages of him writing some questionable shit.
Dude, that's still that Snapchat thing is my favorite thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I should find that so you could you remember that. I showed that to you where they were explaining to him that you could actually undelete Snapchats or whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then, his face. Yeah.
His face. It's like that. Like here, I'll find it. That face, like that. His face in that one clip tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah. Here you go. This is the clip. It's right here.
Cat.
Okay. So, this woman is a teacher. She taught in a middle school and a high school. She was recently charged for sending one of her former students nudes through Snapchat. She was also Miss Kentucky.
I want to show you guys something. Just pay attention.
Watch his fucking face though. Like
Not
when they go ahead. Sorry.
I'm going to show you, look at D'Elia now. Look what he looks like. This is just before the canceling. And I'm going to show you a video of him on their new podcast that they do together. And look at how fucking this has destroyed this man.
At one point. And her excuse was that she was trying to send a nude photo of her through Snapchat to her husband, but accidentally sent it to one of her students. And when he responded, she freaked out and sent him more.
No, she's full of shit. Obviously, be better at lying. But also,
Wait,
she deserved to go to prison for 2 years
no, of
for
course
sending a
not.
teenage boy tits.
But
Well, how old was
she?
she?
Sent him more?
Well, he's in
15.
15, yeah.
15.
And
Oh,
she
that
is-
kid's probably
So Delia's kind of staring off into space while they're talking about this, rubbing his arm, and he's very uncomfortable. And we'll find out later after this that Delia was Snapchatting and texting underage girls some less than appropriate stuff. So he's kind of sitting here. The wheels are turning in his head. And listen to the first thing he thinks about with this story.
boy tits.
But
Well, how old was
she?
she?
Sent him more?
Well, he's in
15, yeah.
15.
old
And
Oh,
she
that
is
kid's probably
29.
that kid's probably damaged for the rest of his life. Or he has
She sent-
jacking
she
material
sent
for
him more?
Yes. But here's the thing. She sent it through Snapchat. Why does she have her students Snapchat?
Yeah, well, that's weird. Yeah.
Let me see her body. Dude, if I'm 15
That's amazing.
and this history teacher sends me those tits,
Yeah.
you'd be stoked.
Very strange to me, though.
It's an odd
It's such
thing.
a weird thing to do.
Wait, hold on.
Wait, she won an award?
By the way, is anyone else get the feeling that this podcast is just stuck in neutral?
That's all this is neutral.
Yeah, this is just stuck in neutral. We're going to show pictures of a chick with big tits. Go, oh, yeah, she could damage me. Oh, look at her tits. Look at her. All right, guys, are we going to take this anywhere? Are we going to do any, like, we can do a bit? We're going to, make some jokes? Or we just...
Strong core.
She was
has a strong core.
2014 Miss Kentucky.
That's a strong
Oh,
core.
Kentucky, not exactly that
All right,
competitive.
all right, man. You said that 3 times.
Yeah, no, I heard you the 7th time and I ignored it.
It's just a strong core.
Very
Okay,
SpongeBob-ish.
But hold on a second.
Here we go.
How did it come out? Like, how did they
The
Parents.
boy's mother ended up finding it.
Fucking
finding
haters.
it? What do you mean?
Haters.
Snapchat goes away, right? How they?
He probably saved it. You can screen record, take screenshots.
Yeah, watch his face.
You got to know that that's
Delia's like, oh, shit. Wait a minute.
That one clip tells you everything you need to know.
You can save
going to
Snapchats?
happen.
Oh, the
Some people do
eyebrows
some
go
crazy
up.
Shit.
Yeah, it says teen's parent reportedly found the photos on his phone, which he saved.
He is just staring into space. The panic that set in on Delia's face, the awareness that washed over him. I miss that clip. There's one where they like zoom in on him.
Yeah, there's like one where they like have music playing behind it too.
Yeah, Curb Your
They,
Chris.
like,
Oh yeah, here it
zoom
is.
in.
Here's the one.
Yeah, no, I heard you the 7th time and I ignored it.
It's just a strong core.
Very
Okay,
SpongeBob-ish.
But hold on a second. How did it come out? Like, how did they
The
Parents.
boy's mother ended up finding it.
Fucking
finding
haters.
it? What do you mean?
Haters.
Snapchat goes away, right? How they?
He probably saved it. You can screen record, take screenshots.
You got to know that that's going to happen.
Look at his face.
Yeah, it says teen's parent reportedly found the photos on his phone, which he saved from Snapchat. Also, mom, quit being a cockblock.
Look at his face, like that. I
Yeah.
mean, like that tells you everything you need to know.
If I'm the prosecution, I rest after playing that video.
Yeah, like gulp, eyebrows up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I just and so that now he does. So that was Delia now or then. I want to play you. What is it? The Golden Hour podcast. And look at what he looks like now. This is 4 days ago.
He looks like the dog. Or he looks like the kid with the dog. Either way, he looks like both of them.
All right, I don't know who that is.
Great movie.
Look at that. I mean, just
waiting for it to show up still.
probably about 20 or 30 pounds lighter. His arms are gone. His skin, like I said, it looks like he just got fished out of a river.
Still waiting.
Like those allegations and all that shit just completely.
Oh yeah,
wrecked
wow.
him. Yeah, I mean that's not the same guy.
No.
Not that he had a lot of color beforehand, but this guy is completely washed out. Phew.
Harsh.
Yeah, and like Brendan got handed this career by Joe Rogan, and look what he's doing with it now. It's like anybody who earned their celebrity and came up the right way doesn't still associate with Chris D'Elia. Like anybody who's like, oh, I'm on an upward trajectory. I got this. You go, hey, Chris, look, we may be boys and everything, but like I can't be associated with what you're associated with. I got to put you on the back burner, buddy. Sorry.